Hey there, listeners. Pavi Colin here. Before we get into the episode, I wanted to let you all know that we are going to be changing our name, and you should see that starting this episode. We're now going to be called Two Grooms, One Plot. We love the old name, Then a Moment, but it was a little bit obscure, and we thought we could be clearer with our branding if we told everybody that we're two married gay guys talking about stories. So hopefully that clears some things up. We're going to be changing all the socials, and you should see that coming out soon. So all of you who came to find Then a Moment and were afraid you were in the wrong place, don't you worry. You are in the right place, and it's going to be the same show as always. I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the other side. Warning, this podcast typically features spoilers and strong opinions. Proceed with caution. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Two Grooms, One Plot, the podcast where two married lifelong storytellers talk about stories. I'm Pavi Colin. I'm audiobook narrator, author, actor, etc.
And I'm Colin Funk, childhood development expert and teaching artist.
And today we're going to talk about Wish, the newest installment in the Disney franchise.
Yes.
Very excited about this one because we haven't talked all that much about it after seeing it together. So first, though, it's time for the moment of the week. And we just talked about this beforehand, and I think we're going to have to share our moment of the week. We will be brief because I think we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll see some stuff about it on our socials, some shorter things. But it is Paramount Theater in Aurora's production of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Is that the whole? Is it
the musical? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think that's what it's called.
It's actually.
Yeah.
I feel like every version has.
Yeah, they're all.
It's Willy Wonka for sure, not Charlie.
Right.
Because Charlie's the movie, which was not the book. The book was Willy Wonka.
Right. So something like that.
It's hard to keep from track.
Yeah.
But I think the musical is Willy Wonka. Oh my God.
Yeah, Willy Wonka
and the Chocolate Factory.
The musical.
The musical.
And
that's not part of the title. It just is a musical.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's not part of the title, but it is a musicale.
Yes.
And
so the musical version.
It was probably the worst thing I've seen in a long time, if not ever. It was bad.
Okay, but let's preface this by saying the people in it weren't bad.
Of course, yeah. No. It's
like
no one's fault, I
the
suppose.
performances weren't bad.
Yeah.
And I would say most of the direction was not bad either.
I mean, if that's the script they had to work with.
Pieces here and there. This is one of the worst new shows I've seen in a long time. Like the actual writing of it.
Yeah.
We won't go into details about why
we'll talk about
but
more
we'll pick a couple
later.
moments that we
So what's your moment?
My moment. I have to go with in the maze. I'm going to go with the maze.
Okay.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There's a chocolate factory, and the kids are it's the same as the movie. Charlie Bucket, poor kid.
Yep.
Gets a golden ticket, goes to the chocolate factory, and is essentially competing against other kids to get chocolate or something. Right. I don't know what it is across all the stories. In this one, they get a lifetime supply of chocolate, but maybe more.
Something else.
But just like the movie, we see all the kids do things that get them into trouble. Augustus Gloop getting sucked up into the chocolate tube, that happens. But then just randomly in the middle of the show, we have this scene where they have to go through a maze to get to this room of cabinets filled with every ingredient, special ingredients. Is that what it was? I don't remember.
Yeah, secret ingredients.
The secret ingredients.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, what are the secret ingredients? But we have to get through a maze to get there. Okay, sure, that makes sense. But the trick is it's invisible.
Right.
It has to be believed to be seen.
Oh my God.
And so they have to Like Willy Wonka shows them how to get through, pantomimes the whole thing himself. Then we have to watch essentially the rest of the cast that's on the stage do it too.
Yeah. So we've got like 7 people that have to like pantomime this thing.
Pantomiming is...
It's not easy.
It is not easy. It is time consuming, and to like cram it in a small amount of time, not small enough, I might add, because what happens at the end is that they just get to the end. Grandpa Joe, he's too feeble to go through it. So they're like, okay, then we won't go here. We'll just go back the other way. And Willy Wonka just walks back through as if there's no maze. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. The magic, blah, 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 blah. Things change. Fine. But then why did we do that whole scene? Nothing happened. No one.
No, it
none
was
of
so
the children
stupid.
got swept up by the Oompa Loompas.
Mm-hmm. It was
Nothing
inconsequential.
Happened. It didn't show us anything about Willy Wonka or Charlie or anyone. It didn't do anything.
Right.
It just filled time, and it was already way too long.
Yeah.
So that's my moment.
Ugh, atrocious. Thank you for your moment. Mine is when they get on the boat, the SS Wonka, and it's like the whole thing. I mean, the set's not that great most of the time. It gets better in the second act when there's like really intricate set pieces that are like really beautifully made.
There's some actually really cool set pieces.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff that's really interactive and it looks great and it gets brought out. And then they go on this boat, which again was like a totally inconsequential event that they're on this boat. And and they make the boat out of just like ribbons and sheets. So it's like everything else is like really intricate and there's videos everywhere.
Full set pieces that they wheel on and wheel
like
off.
Really shiny, bulbous, kind of plasticky looking, like looks really slick.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just like, we're on a boat now and they just like spread out a bunch of sheets. They like dyed a bed sheet and put it up behind them.
Oh my God. It was.
And I was like, what is happening? What is this? It was like they ran out of time. They like made the rest of it
space backstage for all the set pieces.
Because it was like these huge honking like islands that were being brought out.
Very cool.
Yeah, cool stuff.
But if they, I don't know,
the boat, and we didn't need that scene either.
I think the oars.
The oars were cool. The oars, they were
the lollipops. Very specifically, you get at the bank.
Yes, the bank lollipops. Do they still do that?
Stick.
Let us know in the comments. Do they still do that? Because I haven't been inside a bank in a long time. I do online banking now, but yes, those little
Everyone
like
has a cafe now. It doesn't just give out lollipops.
Yeah, they just give you coffee instead. Coffee.
That's an upgrade.
Speaking of, Colin is drinking coffee. Okay.
So
good.
Those are our
that
moments
was
of the
our
week.
moments.
Usually our moments are
a little bit more positive. Yeah, this time we were.
But it's a good reminder that moments can be
not great.
They're just impactful. Those were lots of impactful moments in this.
Truly, yeah. It was really. We'll tell you more about it. Catch us on the socials, and we'll get some stuff out there about it.
Not worth a whole episode, but
yeah. All right, let's get to Wish, and we'll start with our switch hit synopsis, where we take turns interjecting and getting the plot out. So, where do we start with Wish, the newest Disney film?
We start with we're in Rosas.
Yes, we're in Rosas,
which is a
city,
kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Specifically in the Mediterranean, which we'll talk about perhaps.
Is it?
Yes.
Specifically in the Mediterranean?
Specifically in the Mediterranean. That is what they said. And I noted it in my brain.
I did watch it. I'm like, Spain? ?
Yeah, it was like, it's in some island in the Mediterranean. But it's this kingdom that was founded by Magnifico.
Maybe they picked a... Well, get to it. Maybe, who knows?
Magnifico the wizard.
Yes.
And he is the king of this city-state. And he endured some unspecified tragedy.
Who knows?
Learned magic and decided he was going to protect everyone's wishes because he didn't want anybody's wishes to fail ever again. So you have this city where people like go to Magnifico and give him their wish, their greatest wish at 18, which he then takes in this little bubble and he protects it forever. And the people forget their wish and live in presumably like contentment because they don't have this like
they don't have the burden of
like having a wish that won't be fulfilled.
This isn't gonna come true.
Right.
They don't have to like worry about this wish of theirs.
Yeah. We're following Asha.
So we're following Asha.
Yes, and she is not 18 yet, so she has not given up her wish.
No. But she is interviewing for the King's apprenticeship.
Yes.
So
and incidentally
to be the
also
Wizard's apprentice.
Right. Wizard's apprentice. And then her grandfather's turning 100, and so they think that maybe, because every now and then Magnifico will grant one of the wishes.
Yeah, every wish ceremony he grants a wish.
Yes, every wish ceremony he'll grant a wish, and who gets their wish granted is some mysterious process. And
but
the hope is that her grandfather will get his wish granted.
And the assumed the understood. They believe that whoever is the King's apprentice gets their wish granted and all of their family's wishes granted.
Right.
That's
what they think.
Yes, that's what everyone thinks in the kingdom. And so as she's interviewing, they're like, "Ooh, you just want to do it because you want your wish granted and because Grandpa's turning."
Yeah. So you got a mom, and her dad is no longer with them, and
very Disney. I mean,
very
we'll talk
Disney.
about
how Disney this all is. So eventually she kind of in this first third of the film, she does this interview, and then like while she's in it, she finds out that he's like keeping these wishes, but her grandfather's wish will never be granted because it's too vague, and he's decided it's dangerous.
Right. It might put the
kingdom in danger because it was something vague, like wanting to make leave a lasting impression. He wanted to leave something,
to influence a new generation.
Yes, and so that could be, what is it? Right, could be really bad.
A rebellion. Does that mean? So he's trying to get Asha to work with him, but also telling her that he's not going to grant like 90% of these wishes.
Yeah, and she's like, but then what's the point here?
She kind of has this epiphany and is like, I want something more for everyone.
Yeah. Well, then give it back. Give back the wishes.
Give back the wishes.
Because then they can at least pursue it themselves, and we can stop them if it's something bad.
And then they're at odds, and then he brings Asha to the wish ceremony.
Yes. Does not grant grandfather wish, and also basically says that he'll never grant her wish or her mother's wish either. And
threats of those.
Is basically, and she doesn't get the job, and basically she's like in this really terrible position, and is very, very sad.
So she wishes on a star
because her father taught her how to do that, and they always looked out at the stars. So she wishes on a star, and a star comes down to help her, I guess. So I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but it like basically comes down and is like, it's unclear. And it's this little star. It's very cute little star. And it's so mad because Magnifico is holding on to these wishes. So they resolve to help.
Like, we're going to do it. And they're going to break in and we're going to let him go.
Yeah.
And so with the help of her friends in the palace, they break in and try to get the wishes freed. One of those friends betrays them.
Yes.
Because Magnifico, actually, he says if anyone else is helping the person who's...
Well, and we missed something. It's just Magnifico, when the star comes down, it's like very, very clear. It's very bright flash, and everyone thinks Magnifico cast some spell, and Magnifico's like, I didn't do it. Someone else is casting magic, and that is forbidden in my kingdom. Yeah. So I have to find out who it is. So we need to find out who's doing it. And if you have any information, I will grant you your wish. Well, one of her friends is 18, has given up his wish. And ever since giving up his wish, he's been like really taciturn. So
sleepy, if you will.
He's like kind of, sleepy. All of the friends are like dwarves. But it's, but he, because he's so afraid that he's going to live the rest of his life kind of that basically depressed, he does it. He gives them up, and then he gets his wish, But by this point, Magnifico has like broken open the evil book that he's had locked up. That's like forbidden magic that he's been keeping safe so no one else can use it. But he's now tapped into it to be able to like use it and find and protect his power at this point. And so he grants this wish. This friend becomes very like strong and powerful and chases everybody down. And there's a whole challenge to get these wishes out to everybody while Magnifico is like very, very powerful and basically thwarts the plan until all of the people unite and because they learn that when the queen basically defects after she like realizes that her husband has gone crazy, they realize that none of their wishes are going to get granted, so they might as well get their wishes back, and so they all kind of unite and make their own wishes.
Right.
Freeing the star because Magnifico captures the star into it's very complicated. He captures it into his staff, and then Magnifico gets put in the staff, and then becomes
not that
a face in a mirror, and basically they win. They beat him.
Yeah.
And
they find the powers within themselves, essentially. Yep. They don't have to like look outward.
Yes.
Again, very, very Disney
very
lesson.
Disney.
And they're able to kind of work together, find the magic inside of them to move on.
And then Asha becomes
the fairy godmother.
The fairy godmother. It is
a fairy godmother.
A fairy godmother.
Let's say.
There's some kind of origin story here.
Yes. I mean, and that's okay. Since we're kind of ending there, let's kind of talk about that.
Yeah.
Do we think, so it's clear that, I mean, it is obviously, this is Disney's 100-year anniversary movie. So it is essentially Disney being like, hey guys, we're going to give you all of these things and characters and plot lines and magical things that you guys love. Yeah. And we're going to just saturate this movie with as much of it as we can. And that asks the question, like it feels like, because I mean, people talk about like the Disney universe. Yeah. Is it the same? Are they in the same universe?
Right.
Is
Kingdom Hearts tells us so.
Is it like is the shipwreck in The Little Mermaid the boat that Tarzan's parents were on? Were Tarzan's parents actually Anna and Elsa's parents?
Right.
Are they siblings? There's a lot of speculation in Disney movies, which is fun. And I think they leave it vague and they don't actually connect them.
Yeah, not explicitly ever. Yeah.
Right. Which is, and I think they're doing something similar where they're saying like, ooh, look, she's the fairy godmother, but is she the fairy godmother?
Right. Or is it just like the story of a fairy godmother
universe? Is it the same universe? And it's
because we've also got Magnifico turning into like the face in the mirror that the evil queen in Sleeping Beauty
is that.
Like, is it that origin story
as well?
Yeah, that's interesting. It could be. Yeah,
I find that fun, but there's also like, I mean, Peter Pan
lots of homages.
Is just like
he's just
himself.
Like he's just like in it.
There's a couple other Bambi's
Bambi's just like Bambi's just like and
just
there's
one of the deer in the forest.
Yeah, just one of the deers. There's like a talking bear. There's like a blue kind of talking bear.
But Bambi and Peter Pan were named specifically.
Yes, right.
And obviously, like there's a few bears, so I don't think they want to name the bear as. And clearly the friends of.
Asha's
friends are just alternate versions of the Seven Dwarfs,
right?
Because they all, they're wearing the right colors.
They've got a dopey's like he flaps his ears.
All of
you
their
got
names start with the correct letters.
Yes.
There was Sneezy. There's all of them. I was literally about to name.
Yeah, they were all there.
Name all of them.
Yeah, they were all there.
Let's see. Happy, sleepy, sneezy, Doc, dopey, grumpy, happy. Did I say happy
bashful?
Already? Bashful. Shoot.
I don't remember a bashful. Do I?
Yeah, bashful was the girl.
Oh, right. She was like, oh, that was funny. Yeah, she just like disappeared.
And they each had like a little bit of a part of helping everyone. They each had a piece of it.
Yeah.
Sleepy was the villain, which is
That's so interesting.
I would not have pegged him for the villain.
No. Well, that was interesting. I mean,
there's do you find it more interesting if it is an origin story or if it's just a nod?
I mean, that is interesting as an origin story. I think that if
successful as an origin story.
Yeah, I think that if they needed it to be an origin story, then they actually need to connect all of them, and that might undermine a lot of things. Might undermine what they do. So it's like, it's better.
They don't do the Adventure Time thing.
They don't make it the connection.
Together.
Right. And I think that it's okay if they don't.
Yeah.
It's okay even if it's like, well, it is even the fairy godmother's origin story or a fairy godmother's origin story is fine. Like where it's like within some worlds here, but I don't think it needs to be. I think the other thing that kind of undermines it too is just the fact that they've actually put it, as I mentioned, in the Mediterranean. I don't know why they were so specific about it. He finds some island in the Mediterranean Sea. And I was like,
was that in the intro?
That is in the intro. And I was like, that is so strange.
Didn't clock it.
Because if they had left it vague and let it be just a magical place, that would have made it work better.
Well, the thing that Disney does often is that they pull references from the actual culture of the actual place.
Right.
And I think they wanted to stay true to that.
Sure. But they don't ever tell you that's like, they don't say that, Arendelle is in Scandinavia. It's a Scandinavian-esque, it's a Swedish-y
That's true.
place.
They don't say that. You're right.
We just know what it looks like. We do have Mulan is in China, but it's specifically about China.
Yes, that one's about China, yes.
But even like, what's the Raya and the dragon one?
Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya and the Last Dragon. They don't say that's in
is it Thailand?
Malaysia. I think it's Malaysian. They don't say it's there. It's in a kingdom that is like drawing inspiration from that place. So there's something that kind of like undermines maybe the ability to let it be somehow connected to everything by actually placing it on Earth.
Yeah. Yes. In that sense. Yes. In context of like connecting it to things.
Yeah. But it is interesting, I think, as kind of a bit of an origin. Like even if it's like, well, that mirror, it's magic. It ends up in the Sleeping Beauty place. Yeah. Or not Sleeping Beauty. Snow White. It ends up in the Snow White place, right? It ends up there. He ends up going from mirror to mirror in like some alternate, land and getting there. Like I'm okay with that.
In like a little he could
go to any reflected place, right? It's like, or perhaps that's what I'm imagining.
Well, they put him in the dungeon. They put that thing in the dungeon.
Yes.
It's like, but it's so gross there. So to me, it's clear that he's like,
he's trapped in there.
That specific thing. Yeah. That doesn't mean he always will be. Whatever. That's the whole point.
But that's the whole thing. It could be. That's like could be more an origin story of like where that evil thing comes from.
Interesting as and those two characters specifically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The magic mirror. Like, because I didn't clock that for a while.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Maybe honestly, as I was watching it, I did think I'm like maybe relative or ancestor of Evil Queen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought for sure reference to Evil Queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like very vain.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the hero, the princess, and she's not a princess. Yeah. They didn't choose to make her a princess, which I thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. And the villain, they're clearly, they pull a lot from a lot of different stories. They're just Disney's already really great at Easter eggs and references, and to just like make a whole movie out of it. At the very least, it was a lot of fun to just be like, oh, I think that's that.
Look.
Oh, yeah, I think that's that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Do you think like what about the music? It is a musical.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the music?
I liked it. I wouldn't say I was enamored by it, especially if you're pointing out that it's like Mediterranean influenced. I'm not sure that's really coming across, certainly in the music. I love Ariana DeBose, and I'll have her. I'd listen to her sing, just about anything, and I think a couple of the songs are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like I like her. I made this wish, whatever the wish song was, and the star song. Yeah, like Everyone's a Star. I loved it.
Okay,
I thought it was very fun. And I thought it was silly. It didn't the songs didn't take themselves on. You know what? I particularly loved the first duet between Magnifico and Asha, where they're singing about keeping the dream safe.
Yeah.
That song is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
There's something, and it was really interesting because it feels like it applies obviously to a lot more than just dreams. They're singing about like, oh, I vowed to keep you safe. Again, pulling themes from Disney.
Yeah.
But like talking about dreams and wishes, again, a big theme in Disney. And I thought that song was really beautiful. That duet, I was like, ooh. I was like, should I sing that?
I think that was probably the only one that I was like, that would be interesting.
Like the first,
it's one of the first songs,
other than like the intro song, which was like fine.
It was like very Encanto.
Yes,
it was like, here's what we do. She was like a tour guide showing people around.
Lots of references.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't remember any of the music. I don't remember any of it. And there were so many lyrics. There were so many words, and it didn't always work. Like the lyrics were a little, I don't know, pedestrian maybe. I just like, it was a lot of words.
I would say like certainly there was a couple songs that were very simple.
Yeah.
Lyrically.
Yeah.
Certainly not that first, the duet.
Yeah.
I did really like that. But like even the star song, like I can see what you're saying. Like it was very simple, but I thought it was like, I just thought it was silly.
Yeah.
It gave me Lost in the Woods, Frozen 2 vibes.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's also another song I don't think you're a huge fan of.
I'm not a huge fan of it, no.
I think it's cute. Or like even Surface Pressure, Dancing Donkeys.
Yeah, I like Surface Pressure.
Yeah, the song is better.
There's just something about,
I love Surface Pressure.
I think that just was missing. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but I'm like, it's missing that like hummability, right? I'm not leaving humming any of it in a way that there's one or two. In Kanto, I'm like, dun, 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 dun. I don't know. It's just, you can, was that pretty?
That was, I knew exactly
under the
right
surface. There's just like good music.
Green Day singing Surface Pressure.
Yeah. I just found myself missing Lin-Manuel and like had the ease of his lyrics and music.
That's fair.
To the ear and how it catches. Not a hook to be seen, in my opinion, in Wish. And I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity. Or
this wish, like something,
something like that.
That is that's the one thing that really stands out musically.
And I'm like, I maybe just like don't let it be a musical. Like make it not a musical.
No, you have to.
You have to. It's a Disney's 100. It's like so interesting who they chose to do it. I don't even know who they are. I've never heard of those people. I don't remember who it is right now.
Look it up.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Music by Dave Metzger is the score, and the songs are Julia Michaels and Benjamin Rice.
Yeah. And Julia Michaels did the lyrics?
It just, I don't know.
I think that's what I remember seeing. Yeah, I don't even know who they are. I wonder if Benjamin Rice is related to Tim Rice.
Absolutely, that was my first thought. But
but as far as the story goes, despite the music, I was really interested in this idea. It's like very like Mistborn meets Disney, where you've got this kind of like all-powerful leader with, you know, kind of protecting his people with an iron fist, where it's like he's the villain. He ends up being the bad guy, but he's just doing it. Sorry, it's just spoiled Mistborn for all y'all, but he's just doing it to protect everyone, right? It's like, that's the thing. It's like he maybe did it in the wrong way, but that's the whole, you know, that was what he was doing. His intention was good. So this idea that like protecting wishes to avoid that disappointment was the solution at the time, and how it ends up being this kind of an analog for some kind of, you know, benevolent despotism.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting. And it brings up the question of just like the villain arc in general.
Yeah.
Because I did keep asking myself, has he done anything wrong? Like in Mistborn, he is not letting anyone do anything different. They can't leave. They can't.
Right.
But essentially, this king is like, you can give me your wish or not.
Right.
He's not forcing people to give up their wishes.
Right.
He has like made it
a tradition.
Appealing. But like, it's not like people are they're not like, I don't know if I want to, we'll just do it anyway. Like, there's not even that sort of pressure.
Yeah.
There is this, like it feels like it's not understood the actual implications of losing your biggest dream.
Yeah. And that's why Asha like learns that. She finds out. Yeah.
I'm not sure that the king actually thinks about it like that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's certainly not intentionally mean.
Right. No, yeah, of course.
But it's like you said,
he doesn't really get tyrannical until he feels like something's threatening the city. And ultimately his like power over him. But
I think the thing that made me stop was at the end when he's like, I let these people into my kingdom. I don't charge them rent. I keep them safe. I give them all the food. Like, I'm like,
has he done anything wrong?
He built this place.
Yeah.
And he did it in this way. And maybe that way worked. And he's not telling you can't leave and find a way to do it another way.
Yeah.
I understand.
So kind of like this in this world, is there everybody only gets one wish? Like, are you not able to get another wish? Like if you gave one up, or
in the end, I get like in the moment, it's like, I actually now am in a position to see that like we need to change this thing right now.
Yeah.
Whether or not he did anything wrong or not.
Yeah.
I believe these people deserve these dreams back.
Right. And because he resisted it, that's why he actually ends up doing something wrong.
Right.
Eventually.
Yes.
He hasn't yet, really. But like once she's like, well, you just told me that my family's not going to get their wishes granted. You should give them back. And he's like, no, you don't understand. That's not what I'm going to do. Then when she makes her wish, accidentally causing magic to happen, now he's like kind of, you know, he's clamping down on the kingdom now. Now he starts doing things. This is the way
he runs it. This is the way he's kept it safe.
Yeah.
Because if he granted all those wishes, like he said, he might be, I mean, it's very Encanto. Yeah. Like, we have to do it this way because that is the way that kept me safe after this horrible traumatic thing happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of that too, and his arc, I think it gets a little vague too, because with, say, Encanto, we know why Abuela's
That's true.
life was overturned. We see it happen, you know? They get attacked moving. And it's very, very moving.
Mirabel forgives her.
Yes.
She's redeemed at the end.
Yeah. In Mistborn also, we know eventually what the Lord Ruler is fighting against. What has happened in the past, right? In Wish, we just get a vague, he had some terrible tragedy happen and he never wanted anybody's wish to be taken away. So we never actually get to see it. And not that
It's very Beauty and the Beast the way it's set up.
Kind of, yeah.
We don't really know.
We don't know what he did or what happened. And I wish we did. Like, he's like, he lost his family because of
I'm not
something.
Sure
and
I need that much. I just like, I guess it goes into like some of the newer movies give us a little bit more. I mean, really all of the movies give us some depth to the villains.
Yeah.
Like Scar has some depth. We know why he's like he is.
Right.
I mean, just Encanto does it really well. It's like very, very nuanced. And like if it's Abuela that's the villain, we understand her.
Yeah.
And she's not the villain at the end.
Right. In this, he kind of is. And I guess
he becomes a villain, and the phrase like, once the darkness has touched you, there's like no turning back.
Yeah.
It's like I don't love that
because there's something
message.
Yeah, not redemptive there. It's very punitive, you know.
Yeah.
There's like I think more to that point that it wasn't him that did it. Like, he ended up tapping into the evil book.
Right.
But
he made that choice.
He made that choice, but once that choice was made, then suddenly he became a madman.
Right.
And so like was no longer
alcoholism
Right?
argument. It's like, he made the choice to drink and he lost control because he was drinking.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different because it's magic and it's like, it has a hold on him. And even the queen at one point was like,
well, it's over.
He's always controlled his magic. Now the magic is controlling him.
Yeah.
She even says that.
Yeah. And I think that is a little bit of a, in the way that like Abuela, we see why she is the way she is. We don't get that full picture for him because we get very little about it. And I always want it to like loop back around. I want the thing that he was protecting them against is actually back. Or there's something that connects, that we see a parallel. This old hero and this new hero have parallel stories. And the old hero is now the villain, but we have that parallel story happening that we see the new one do something else. I mean, we don't.
That's just, again, Encanto does it.
Encanto does it really, really well. And in this, it's not only do we not get the full story, not only do we not get his like a really good explanation about why he is the way he is, because we start seeing him be like weird and vain and like talking apropos of nothing about how beautiful he is. Another problem I had with the lyrics of the songs that it like starts out, it's like, I'm beautiful, I can't help it. I was like, that's a very weird way to start this song. That's not what this is about. But we also have him.
You just don't understand being beautiful in love and how that's on the forefront of.
You're right. I have no idea. But we also see him be his degradation, why he actually ends up doing bad stuff doesn't have anything to do with what he's like.
Right.
It's not connected to, like, was that book the evil thing that he protected the world from? Like, that would have even tied it all back together, where he ends up becoming the thing that he was protecting against.
Interesting.
But the book was just kind of like there. We don't know what that book is from, and it was not connected to anything else. So it ended up being this arbitrary.
Speaking of things looping back around.
Yeah.
if, like you said, if it was like, if he was protecting them from the evil magic book, whatever, and that's what he ends up using.
Right.
Alternately, if they're really making it about vanity and that being the thing, if vanity and if that was like the thing that got him out.
Yeah.
If, you know, if that was like, there was a tragedy, but like his good looks got him out somehow.
Yeah.
And so like that was something he cared about.
Right. It ended up actually being important to the grand scheme of why he is the way he is, instead of just being an homage. So that, I think there were just a lot of things that were just references.
There were, yes.
And
yes.
not done the work to tie it in. And I'm not saying in the Adventure Time way where we have to
with
make it, but
all
just
the
like
universe, but
it should be
this movie.
Yeah, it should be kind of important if you're going to say that. It can't just be a line because it had to do with a previous movie. If it's going to be in the script, it should mean something.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that generally, personally, I would forgive some in this film specifically.
Yeah. Why?
Because I feel like it. No, I mean, because I don't know if the story is really the important thing.
The point. Yeah.
I'm not sure if there is a story. It's a pretty solid story.
And I think
it's
an interesting story. Like that's an interesting idea.
Very interesting story.
This kind of, I'm protecting wishes by making sure they never get granted.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. What an interesting conundrum.
I wonder if this is like based on some other sort of fable or myth.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Disney movies are. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, no, this is Disney.
This is entirely a creation of Disney. The culmination of 100 years of these movies.
Yeah.
They're all about wishes. Everything. Every one of them is about wishes and magic. And
let's boil it down. What is a Disney movie? It is someone who has a wish.
Yeah. And wanting to get it granted.
And a force that is in their way.
Yeah.
Very basic, black, white, good, evil.
Right. And so you make this movie about specifically like the concept of wishes.
Right.
Not just, someone wishing for something. It's like, we're going to actually talk about wishes.
Talk about wishes being
an end in themselves.
Like a substance. It's like a product.
It's
a
literally
valuable
it's a commodity.
thing. It's a commodity.
Yeah.
And I think that concept is very strong.
Yeah.
And
I do too.
I think the story arc is very interesting. I love that a little star, you wish on a star again.
And this little star comes
very,
out.
very Disney.
Yeah.
And very cute.
Yeah.
We love a non-human character.
Mm-hmm. It was very cute. I liked the little star.
They are great at a cute little sidekick
Yeah,
character.
they really are. And I think it comes at a good time too, story-wise. It's like the beginning of it is really a strong start where you've got, the story doesn't really kick off until she makes that wish. Like that's like a very that's this inciting incident. This this star comes down, but she's like,
I would say I was not hooked into the story until the interview.
Yes, the interview is so interesting and it's so early and I really like it.
Gets you in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the story is, but when you get to it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, that's really interesting.
Very interesting.
We meet the villain and he's such a nice guy and nobody at that point, we're like, we kind of like everyone here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially that first song, the beautiful duet between the two of them.
Really interesting. I was like, oh, I get it.
I'm going to keep these dreams. They set him up as like this benevolent character.
Yeah.
And he's not. I mean, again, very Disney. It's very, very Hans in Frozen. It's, the switch of, oh, they're not actually, there's something that's stopping them from being actually good.
Yeah. And I guess maybe that's a problem I also have with Hans generally, but I guess we understand why Hans becomes bad, but
he doesn't become bad.
He was already bad.
That's the thing with Hans.
He already intended to take the throne if he could. Because he's like the seventh son or something.
I think he's like one of the biggest twists in a Disney movie ever.
Yeah.
That I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he was gross. He was really, really gross.
And it made me say, okay, then I forgive everything else that happened before.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is not if he's that.
Right.
If he's a jerk like that.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense. It was like a moment that like, it really caught me off guard.
Yeah. And in this, it kind of doesn't, because you kind of see it coming from a mile away a little bit.
You
don't think so?
Not finding out that he's doing something bad. I mean, that happens so quickly.
I guess what I mean is like knowing that the conflict is going to be, oh, no, you don't understand. I can't grant these wishes. I just wish he hadn't gone just completely evil. I think that probably is the thing that's stuck in my craw. My craw? Craw? Stuck in my craw. That he becomes like, as we talk about Abuela, right? Abuela's like really, really horrible to Mirabel. It's like really horrible.
Horrible.
But we get why, and we get there's forgiveness, and we get that she does love her. They love each other. They actually do. That is her grandmother and that is her granddaughter, right? And she is not just evil. Even if it's all consuming, this preoccupation with keeping everyone safe. In Wish, he's like a good guy, and then once he makes the switch,
they're missing opportunities, I guess, to be like, I'm losing this thing that's valuable. That's why that's why I'm doing. And it's
desperate. Not just the power or even the perceived. Like nobody actually was threatening his position. Nobody wanted to take the kingdom away.
Yeah, but he believes that if these wishes are just free in the world, they are dangerous. Yes. He does believe that.
And then it ends up being because I'm going to lose my power, you know? And I'm like, well, okay.
Yes, that was kind of like a weird
It's a weird turn, yeah.
The thing is, like, it could just be contextualized.
Yeah.
All it needs to do is like, I'm going to lose this thing that I built, because that's essentially what this power is.
Right. I've spent my whole life building this thing, and this is how I made it work the way it does. We've been here safe for this long because I've done this way. We're not changing it now. That would have been enough. He didn't have to go evil. You know, he didn't have to go like, I mean, he could have by
the corruption,
giving himself up into the corruption. But I didn't want him to just be like, even at the end where he's like, somebody help me. And it's like very obviously gonna, like, if you let him out of there, he's just gonna kill everyone. Like, I just didn't want him to be just evil.
Yeah, I guess my assumption around that is that they wanted him to stay in the mirror at the end.
Yeah.
They wanted him to be the mirror.
Yeah.
Kind of like your punishment for touching the evil magic. You're now too dangerous to come out.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do that, I think, without having him give up his humanity.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you made this decision. That doesn't mean you're all bad, but that does mean this consequence, you're too dangerous to be out in the world.
Right.
So this is where you have to be.
Yeah.
They could have gone, if the magic was really the thing that corrupted him.
Yeah. Right.
Then they could have made it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's like a big, they all turned on him. Like his wife turned on him.
Well, and I want to talk about that. Like, let's talk about the queen for a minute.
Okay. Let's talk about her.
What is her deal? She's like mentioned at the beginning, right? She's like his loyal queen helps him do the thing, right? And she's kind of she seems to be the forward facing
with you.
Yes, and she seems to be kind of the forward. She's the face of the administration, right? Asha knows her.
Yes,
has met her before. Has apparently never met. The
no,
king?
because he doesn't.
He kind of stays.
That's the thing about him is he's in isolation.
He's in isolation,
which again could really tie into the mirror thing.
Yeah, it could.
I need to commune with myself. My one connection to the outside world socially is my wife.
Is my wife, yeah,
and she's the one who understands me and understands the flaws about me.
And
I liked, especially at the beginning, I liked that she, for a while, was kind of on his side.
Yeah, I guess I think I would have expected a bigger... she turned pretty easily in the end. I think that's kind of...
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Something that was... Like, he threatens her. She sees him, like, be a weirdo, crazy guy with the magic and that kind of like...
He does it a couple times.
Yeah.
And that last time, I'm like... She's out.
Yeah, she is obviously out. And I don't mean necessarily timing wise. I think I'm commenting on her emotional state. Like I think I wanted to see a little bit of grief.
Okay. I feel you. I think
I wanted, because she just comes out and she's like, well, I'm on your team now, guys. No, we're going to fight you.
And that's too dramatic effect. Like she busts in the room and they're like, oh, are we caught?
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm going to help you. He's going to see.
That doesn't bother me as much. I do think there is, I don't know. I'd like to revisit that scene where she's like, because she is able to convince him.
Yes, that she's on his side.
No.
Oh, yes. Right. To not take, yes, you go ahead. Sorry, finish your sentence.
She's able to convince him not to use the book at first.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hey, remember, you yourself said that this, even you shouldn't touch this.
Yeah.
I know this is important. We can do it. We don't need that.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're right. And I believe they're a team. They're working together. He gets more and more threatened. She sees him like once or twice use the mat, like uses it once and she's like, maybe you shouldn't. He's like, no, I think it's okay. She's like, okay. And then it happens, I think, one more time.
Yeah.
And she's like, I beg you, please stop. Yeah. And he's like, what?
You against me? Yeah.
If you're not with me, you're against me. That whole
She's
thing.
Like, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I am with you.
Yeah.
I am on your side.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very strong scene.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I believe her.
Yeah.
She isn't lying.
Yeah.
She is on his side.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we see some fear. I think there is grief under there.
Yeah.
And maybe we could have had more of a moment. I don't think they wanted to give it away. I think they wanted it to be kind of like okay, is she going to fall into the same trap as him?
Yeah.
Is he going to like scare her into joining his side?
Right. And I'm glad that she isn't scared into it. And maybe it would even just some kind of resolution like at the end when they finally win.
But that's kind of
that she's got to like, then she can be like, okay, I don't have to be the strong one anymore. I can be sad about this. I'm
because she's a woman.
No,
she doesn't have to be the strong one. Oh,
that's everybody. God, no, it's not because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm,
I would.
Would you say that about a man?
I 100% would say that about a man character. Yes, yeah, it'd be like, and they would more likely not give the man character the way to, they treated her like they do a male character, where they wouldn't have them grieve like that. They would just be like, I'm strong. It's like, well, that was like your best friend. That was your partner in crime. And you're just like, okay, out with the old, in with the new. I just wanted, especially if they built this place together and she's like been on his side the whole time and he loses his mind. Yeah. That would be so hard.
But that could be that, again, that moment when he's trapped in the thing and they have an interaction could fix all of the things.
Yeah, that would.
It could give him his humanity. It could be like,
I'm sorry.
I was doing this because of this.
Yeah.
Like, please let me help, and have her be like,
I'm sorry, you're too dangerous.
We can't.
I'll miss you.
You made You made a choice, and unfortunately, there's no coming back.
I think that really would have helped me a bit if they had just a moment to connect there right at the end.
Yeah. I mean, again, Encanto is so strong.
Yeah.
I mean, Encanto's
really good.
Very good. I like think about that ending, and I'm like,
yeah, I know. All you haters. I don't know if there are many, but
who are you talking to?
I don't know. People who don't like it. Yeah, I think I'm because I've seen such good storytelling from them. Yeah. They managed to make The Emperor's New Groove out of like nothing. Like that's crazy. That was an accident. That was an accident, but still.
And so we're talking about storytelling. I think we're going to lose magic in storytelling when we are trying to achieve something as specific as making this like love letter homage, something very specific. Yeah, where it's really hard to step back and be like, we'll cut these things when we're like,
well, no, but that's kind of what it's here for. That's kind of
what it is.
Yeah.
And I agree that there are ways to make it better and make it stronger storytelling, obviously, without cutting references.
Yeah.
But even in those changes, what references are we cutting?
We will cut something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because because they packed it with references. It's like every moment is like a like a different moment.
Can we go through and like talk about some things? Like, can we go through and like list out some movies that have been referenced, that like how we see them? Because there are a few that I'm like, I'm not sure I see that one.
Okay. Or you say, like,
let's go. Like, we talked about Snow White. Of course, we see the mirror. We see kind of this evil queen. We
see the dwarves. There's
a lot of Snow White, because that was the first one.
Yes.
So it's like very much an homage. Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. I thought the art was closest to Sleeping Beauty.
That's really interesting. I think I didn't think of that. The art was so beautiful too. That Gorgeous. Kind of like this meld between the digital and like a penciled crayon. Like, oh man.
I don't know if they hand did it or made it look like it. The backgrounds
were so
stunning.
Gorgeous. I was like,
art.
I've seen video games like this.
For like, if that's just because it looks like what they used to do, where the background is just like one image and do stuff on top of it and just use like digital, and the way they like, it did take me a minute, I would say, to like, for my eyes to kind of like see the digital images be a part of it.
Yeah. Because the digital images were a little bit outside of it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just going to happen. Like and I think they did a really great job of melding the two, because you're putting digital images on what I assume, I'd have to look into this, I don't really know. Sure. It looks, at the very least, it looks like hand drawn backgrounds.
Yeah, it does. Really beautiful.
Which is like, again, love letter Disney. Perfect.
Yeah, really beautiful.
And they like have some like filter over the digital images that make it kind of less perfect and give the edges a little softness. Yeah. So I once my eyes kind of adjusted to it, I was in it, but the backgrounds were always, there was a couple just like background shots that I was like, oh, wow, stunning. But I did think, I'm like, wow, this kingdom is very, very much like Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
That was my thought.
Great.
I mean, there's like general references, being out in the woods, talking to animals.
Yeah, talking animals. And we've got
not that
the star that makes things sentient. So there's like the talking mushrooms. We see utensils and things and furniture. Yeah. We're seeing like the Beauty and the Beast furniture stuff. Yeah. And
you see furniture and animals just like all across Disney.
Yeah. Of course, we'd mentioned Bambi. We saw a bear. We see
which could be a lot of things.
Fantasia. Did they do the little dance, or am I thinking Little Mermaid, where they do the little like mushroom dance?
They
thought they did something where they did some like little.
They definitely do that in Little Mermaid.
They do in Little Mermaid, yeah. But they were doing something. They did something that I recall. But of course, Wizard's Apprentice, Sorcerer's Apprentice, yeah. That it's like
that's
very obvious. That's like the plot, yeah. Then
obviously, like the green the green evil magic that's like through line through Disney movies.
Yes, green evil magic. We even have the green. I mean, his eyes just look like Scar's eyes, and he's got kind of that grayness of Scar. And we talked about even, you know, just like that, the vying for power idea. Like you've got these,
I think the
like,
power corrupting.
Yeah.
Like that is a very Scar thing in a way that like not a lot of villains were just like looking for power necessarily.
Yeah. Then we've got Mulan, perhaps, because
Mediterranean.
I know, but her friend is very clearly Asian. The one with like, that's like
Doc.
Yeah, the Doc one that's like has a cane.
I'm not sure that's necessarily a connection to Mulan.
I don't know.
She's Asian.
I don't know. But I couldn't think of another Mulan thing. I don't know. I was like, why is she Asian in the Mediterranean?
Because there was every race.
Sure. Yeah, you're right. I'm stuck on the Mediterranean thing, I think. But
that the thing is that it is set in a specific place on Earth could be the thing that connects it to Mulan, right. Is what I in fact am saying.
That's a good point. Yeah. That it's actually on this planet.
Yes.
Yeah. We see Peter Pan.
We
see we literally see Peter Pan. And then kind of a Sword in the Stone situation.
Yes.
Of course. We got like, you know,
the
knights
wizard,
and
things
the
coming
wizard.
to life and making things move by themselves and lots of different things.
Get a sword. Do we have an Emperor's New Groove?
Like a specific Emperor's New Groove thing?
Yeah. Because at the end we see in the credits like all the little like the stars lighting up, and we see like a little
constellations of
each of the and we see Yzma there, so that's like I love Yzma. But I'm trying to think if there's
I mean certainly vying for power.
Sure.
But very different. I don't know if I can think of anything specific.
I don't know if I can either. Yeah, it's like, was there a llama? Was there a? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Like we even see
obviously could have missed something.
Yeah. We see Cinderella. We see like a lot of fairy godmother like turning things into
fairy godmother. It's just like
she's a fairy godmother. And she like gives she puts a dress on something. She like has her wand. She's like, I don't know how to use you.
But it was a very Sleeping Beauty dress.
Yes, it was. It was a very Sleeping Beauty dress.
Yeah.
But we also get like the cutout, like the scissors, and it's like the woman who gets her wish granted, and she's like to make the most beautiful dress, and there's something like there was like the tailor where it's like the flying
well, I mean it
scissors and stuff.
I think it's like dressmaking happens in Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. The animals do the cutting, but also in like they make the fairy godmother the fairies, the three fairies make the dress in Sleeping Beauty too. Right.
Yeah.
And they're bake like so maybe there's
a lot of baking, there's a lot of cookies. That's what it is. That was Emperor's New Groove. It was the cookie face. The cookie face. They made faces of Magnifico, and that's like 100%.
He's also a vain ruler, like
he is
a general.
Yes, right. Yeah, that he's kind of Cusco-y / Yzma-y. But that I think that the cookie was like that kind of two-dimensional.
That was
looks very Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I bet we're like naming things and they're like, sure.
Yeah. That's definitely what we did. Totally. Like I didn't even think of that.
But I do think they were very intentional with most of the details.
Yeah.
Makes it, we're not going to find everything.
No,
obviously.
for sure. Yeah.
We're going to miss things.
What about, we had a mouse. That was very cute.
The
little mouse climbs up. Oh, so sweet. And then love Asha. I added that last part. Oh, so cute. The chickens. So it's like the sneezy guy loves chickens. Weirdly. And then also the chickens all like do a big dance number when the star makes them all
sentient,
and the goat.
They don't speak,
I guess.
Valentino the goat.
Valentino the goat. Who's that voice?
It's Alan Tudyk. Oh my God! It's always Alan Tudyk. He's in everything.
Is a chameleon. How does he even do that with his voice? That's insane. That's not what Alan Tudyk sounds like. That's
How do you
crazy.
know? What's Alan Tudyk's real voice? Do you know?
The one that he uses in...
is that real? Is it?
I actually don't know. But I'm assuming the one that he uses in Firefly is the real one.
Maybe.
Or Knight's Tale.
Isn't he British in Knight's Tale?
Yeah, but he like uses his voice. Is he in Dodgeball too?
Yes. He's a pirate.
I'm assuming.
No, he's using a pirate voice.
Was he?
Yes, he was a pirate.
Oh. Well, then I don't know what Alan Tudyk sounds like.
Like his whole character was like, why are you always a pirate?
That's weird.
He was like pretending to be a pirate.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, that was the joke.
That's so crazy. Alan Tudyk, wow.
And he's the, you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph.
No.
He's the Candy King. In Wreck-It Ralph.
Cool.
Very, the Jack in the Box from the Rudolph.
Yeah.
Ooh, that kind of voice.
Oh my God. He is
It's very good too. I mean, he's so good.
Amazing.
Alan Tudyk is incredible. I did not even realize.
Life goals.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah. I would never have been able to guess that. Yeah. So what are the chickens from? Are they just like new? Are they
I don't know.
a new fresh thing?
I'm like Thumbelina. That's not Disney. Thumbelina's not Disney.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, because there's like a lot of preoccupation with the chickens.
Well, there's Chicken Little. There was a whole...
Yeah, there was Chicken Little.
Which was in the stars.
Well, it was in the stars. That's probably
Chicken
what it
Little
was then.
there. I mean, there was chickens. I mean, there are
chickens
chickens in
Aristocats?
Mulan.
Oh, yeah, Mulan.
She feeds chickens.
Yeah.
There are chickens in Cinderella.
Yeah.
Because the mice steal the corn from the chickens. There's chickens.
There's a lot of chickens. All right.
Aristocats? Is there chickens in Aristocats? I know there's geese.
There's geese.
Aristocats. I love.
That's cute. Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of references.
There's a lot of stuff. This is really good. Yeah. Great. I like that list. That's good. I'm happy with our list. Is there anything you want to
keep talking about forever?
I know we could. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to superlatives? Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I did enjoy it. I really thought it was nice. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that bothered at the things we're even talking about now. I didn't dislike the music as much as you did.
Yeah.
I again, not my favorite of the Disney movies musics, but certainly not terrible.
Yeah. I think I would love to watch it again. I think I would watch it again before I would watch Frozen again.
Yeah. Well, I think Frozen story has more problems.
I do too.
Than Wish, for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I'd like it
they
too.
Have fundamental, I mean, there's fundamental like storytelling problems.
Yeah.
This is kind of like unsupported things, but like still the actual shape of the story is there.
Yes, I agree.
In a way that Frozen, I'm like, how do we get from here to here?
Yeah, the shape is a little strange.
What do I really care about? I mean, and especially after seeing Willy Wonka yesterday and the way they made that story, I'm like, that is not a story.
Yeah, that's not how this is supposed to go.
But it's just like they made it a weird showcase for the kids that wasn't actually very good at showcasing the kids.
Yeah, it was weird.
Hated that storytelling.
Yeah.
But in terms of storytelling, I actually do think it's good.
Yeah.
Even though there's some pieces, Wish.
I agree.
That aren't as tight, I would say.
Yeah, and I think I'm, of course, as we always are, like being nitpicky about it because
that's kind of
could be that's the whole point. That's why we do this. But yeah, I liked it too, and just wanted to be better. But I did like it. I had a great time, and I would like to see it again.
Always be better,
and
except for Emperor's New Groove, obviously.
I know Emperor's New Groove. We had 0 notes.
My gosh, I literally can't think of any way to improve.
I know, me neither.
But, and that was my point from before. That came from lots of problems.
Yeah.
They were just like, I don't know, this isn't working. We got to change this. We got to change this. We got to change this. If it's working, you cannot see like some of the problems.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, well, mostly it actually works. Yeah. So you won't see the little
I watch
issues.
It and I'm like, oh yeah, that could work. I could see how somebody would be like, yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
I don't want to change this because XYZ, whatever.
Yeah, because once you take, it's the time travel problems. Like you change one thing and suddenly the dominoes fall and you have to change everything the whole way through. Yeah. And sometimes it's easier just to be like, I'm not going to change that. Even though it's a problem, I'm not going to change it because I have to change everything else if I do.
I just like the more and more we see things, like the more I believe you can't make magic like Emperor's New Groove happen.
No, it's accidental.
It's absolutely
always accidental. You can do your best to set yourself
brilliant, up. Writers, storytellers who pre-plan the.
It's just sometimes even then it doesn't work.
Stories. I have to believe that a lot of it happens. Like, how much changes when you're writing?
Yeah, so much changes all the time.
You can't plan it. You can't.
No.
It's going to be an accident in the end.
Yeah, if it's great, it's an accident.
Because stories they're natural.
Yeah.
We tell stories as human beings.
Yeah.
As a way to understand our own identities.
And they're almost always improvised.
And they're almost always improvised and
that's
changed from the original source material.
Yeah.
As we tell stories, as we tell things that happened to ourselves, as our brain is telling us things that happened to ourselves, everything's getting rewritten to something more memorable, more exciting,
cohesive to our identity. So keep that in mind. You can't even trust your own memories because they're always changing.
That's true.
Yeah, but
Weird it's PSA.
I am. Yeah, you'll never actually know what happened. But I think you're right that it's so much of it is just improvisational, and you just stumble upon it.
Yeah,
and there are things you can try to set yourself up as best you can.
Yep.
To like make it as good as you can, but it's to really get a masterwork out. You're just gonna you're gonna Emperor's New Groove, where you lose every single actor that you had, and the animators go away, and this is a completely different story, and we just gotta tie this together.
And 99,000 other times, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the one time out of those.
Yeah.
I guess 99,001 because that's the number I chose.
I mean, how heavily planned do you think Frozen was? And I'm like lukewarm toward it, Yeah. It's like, it seems pretty it is structured. I don't love it. It seems like really thought through.
But then one of your favorites, Adventure Time, is not
thought
pre-planned.
through. No.
And
they're just kind of like, what do we do this time?
They follow it. And I think it's really...
They let the wind guide them.
There's something that ends up being more inspiring about those stories that are kind of grow from something instead of being really planned and thought out. Even if there's like plot holes, which I hate the term plot holes. Yeah. Like even watching Willy Wonka, I'm like, I know some people call these plot holes. These are bad choices. Like these are just bad. It's not good storytelling. It's not a plot hole. It's just stupid.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't like the term plot hole. No. It's used too much.
Doesn't mean all that much. It's like you need to be more specific.
Yeah. Anyway, Wish.
We love it.
And
I'd see it again.
It is, I love it, especially with the little references.
And that's the thing. That's like, as you say, it's like, that's what this is. And it is fun to watch it and be like, I would say
a couple of songs have moments, even if they're not super catchy, they do make me feel things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt things.
Yeah, same.
I wasn't like sobbing, I would say.
No.
I sobbed during Coco and Encanto.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And I did not during Wish.
No.
Which is fine. Moana, it doesn't have to.
Right. Yeah.
Moana. Also, not Frozen.
This reminds me, we had talked about putting together a way to rate our films. So we have to think of something, probably not this time around, but we'll have to think of like some way to give it stars or Grooms. It's like, how many Grooms do we give it?
Oh my God. So stupid. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out some stupid way.
We'll figure out something, and we'll see if we do a little segment about it during the show. It's like, I liked it. Because I think a big part of what makes a movie good is its rewatch value.
Yeah.
Would I see this again?
Well, and in the end, it's like, even on the flip side of that, like, you can't really plan it. you can't really analyze it in a very structured way, because in the end, if people love it and they watch it, isn't that what
it counts for so much. It counts for so much.
If it does
by
well,
all rights, it shouldn't work, but people love it. So
people love it.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch movies and say like, nah, this doesn't work. Storytelling, blah, 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 blah. If people love it, then who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. All we can do is be like, for the most part, these are the things that work. This is the stuff that we can like reliably kind of look at, or if it is working, here's a theory about why. Yeah. But sometimes, why does Moulin Rouge work? I don't know why. It kind of shouldn't, but it does, you know? Yeah.
There's a lot of weird cuts and weird jumps and weird, like, what happened there? Doesn't matter.
Same with Emperor's New Groove. It shouldn't work, and it does, because we allow the ridiculousness to happen. We allow it to happen. And why do we allow it to happen? Don't know why.
There's things that we'll never actually pinpoint, for sure.
Yeah. We can make guesses, but we won't know.
Yeah. Let's get to our superlatives for this one.
Let's do it.
So, Oscar
worthy moment.
I mean, probably just like the art. I think like the background art, the drawing team. 100%.
Yes, that drawing team was really.
It's some of the most beautiful animated movies since like a Miyazaki film. It's like I haven't watched a Disney film thinking how beautiful is this art in a long time.
Yeah,
this is I literally cannot tell you the last time. I think the art in Emperor's New Groove is very cool.
Yeah, it is.
And so I applaud that, but
it's not beautiful like this. I mean, this is stunning.
And that might be like a personal taste thing.
That is probably. Also, yeah, sure.
But I think it's pretty spectacular. And it was very magical to me.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was. I just thought of the book. They tell the whole story out of the book. That's Beauty and the Beast. I just realized it.
We mentioned that earlier too.
Okay.
Not during the reference section.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah, I say like flip pages while they're doing a little storytelling at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's a book.
Very Beauty and the Beast.
It's very Beauty and the Beast. Okay. My Oscar-worthy moment. I thought, oh my God, Chris Pine. I mean, now I was like, Chris Pine's performance is pretty good. I think he does like a great job. His voice acting is really excellent.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
I'm like, oh my God, that was Alan Tudyk. And he has to get it for me. It's very funny. I think that little goat is funny.
So you've made a complete change? Is that what you're telling me right now?
I don't love that he becomes like an old man when he's like a baby goat.
He's a little baby goat.
He's a little baby goat. And then when he starts talking, he
just
old
has
man.
A deep voice. I don't know if he's an old man,
but
because he talks as if he's like a toddler.
Yes,
he just
does.
Has a deep
You're
voice.
Right. You're right. He does just. I didn't expect to sound like this.
I didn't think
and
that I would
it's
sound
not
like this
that I'm
either.
saying that I love the character. I'm saying that I like Alan Tudyk's voice acting. It's increíble.
I like both.
Okay, fine. I think this is probably another one of those movies that if I watch it again, I'm like, I probably like the music.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, it's like, because I don't remember it, and maybe once I start remembering it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
There's plenty of times that I walk out of something and I'm like, yeah, I can't hum any of the tunes right away.
Sure.
I think it only works if it's like the last song is like super catchy.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have walked out of Encanto. Well, I mean, Bruno, which is on the. I heard that.
I mean, we hear it 1,000 times. Just when you
movie.
See the movie one time, you hear it like 150 times. You're gonna remember that forever.
You're gonna remember it forever.
Yeah.
But
that's a good hook. But
I mean, when we talk about Frozen 2, we didn't think that music was catchy.
I didn't think
a
damn thing about it, and then
we listened to it separately.
And I was like, oh my God, this is a good score.
That music in Frozen 2.
Real good. So you're right. I'll probably like it better the second time around.
And it might not. That part of it might be an incorporation problem. Like it doesn't feel like it. There isn't something like Encanto. I love that it is. I mean,
all
it's like
Colombian music,
right? And it's the In the Heights versus Hamilton issue for me. In the Heights is so good, and it's because the music all feels like it's the same world.
Yeah,
and it's like very strongly cultured, I guess.
Yeah,
So it doesn't
it
have
has
to
a strong
be
perspective,
not just from a specific culture. It happens to be in the Heights that like makes it really, it all feels in the same world. If it feels cohesive and it makes it exciting in a way that like Hamilton, it's good. The songs are good, but they're
Not
all
sure where
kind
it
of
lives.
all in different places, and it doesn't feel super
And this too,
cohesive.
they specifically put it in the Mediterranean, and then they kind of don't make it
really use it.
Mediterranean.
They also, I guess, something I thought about since we've talked about the music is that is a place where I wish there were more references.
Yeah, in
like
the music.
actual musical references.
That would have been really
not lyrical
cool.
references, not theme references, but actual, because there's like, I
missed
caught
opportunity.
about When You Wish Upon a Star.
Yeah, When You
I've
Wish Upon
heard
a
that.
Star is like all over the place in this
Yeah,
score.
that
But
one-
it's just that one. That was the only one.
I'm sure there's more.
Probably.
I believe that there's more.
Yeah.
I choose to believe it. I just don't know what they are.
It'll take a rewatch.
And yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious about that. That's
Yeah.
something I definitely will look into.
Yeah.
Because I do think they could have played a lot with that.
Yeah.
In a way that is, I guess, my biggest disappointment about the music.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel quite even in a style that is super Disney.
Yeah.
Which is fine because they do different styles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, again, that is something that Disney does. But they could have picked different, and maybe they did, and I just didn't
Maybe
realize
we
it.
just didn't
so
notice
maybe,
it.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
So that's, again, something to...
We'll have to reassess. We'll also post about that.
and I'll make that my unearned moment just because...
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think
That's a good unearned moment. That's
as I say
really
that, I
missed
think that-
opportunity right there.
Yeah, I'm saying that in that I could take it back if I look back and there's a lot. I guess in general, unearned in that like they don't let us go, oh, about that in the movie.
Yeah.
At least I didn't.
No.
There's a couple moments of
There were lines,
When I Wish
but-
Upon a Star.
Yeah.
Yes, the lyrics. Yes. But the melody line, I wish there was, I wish some of those have caught me more. I wish they were even, if they're there, I wish they were more obvious.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
If it's about references, that is something I wish.
Yeah. I think I just probably have to go. My unearned moment has to, I've had a stroke. My unearned moment, I think it has to be the end with, like, we don't ever get that.
There's no good
resolution with
the villain.
With the villain and like the
Especially the-
I mean, the unresolved really is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something to not be resolved. I'm looking for that emptiness. I'm looking for not just like happily ever after she's the queen and she's where everybody's glad about it. I want to see the...
I wonder if they were doing that on purpose, like really making it kind of black and white classic Disney movie
Maybe.
fairy tale ending, which is, I get it, but
Unearned.
yeah,
It's unearned for me.
we talked in depth about why that is.
Yeah.
Great.
Next.
Favorite reference.
Favorite reference. I was very excited when Star made the wand the first time. That
was very
thrilled
exciting.
me.
Well, the
That was
thing is,
my
like,
favorite, I think.
I clocked that her outfit looked like Fairy Godmother.
Oh yeah, you did.
I was like,
pretty early.
I was like, that's
the fairy
she
godmother
looks
dress.
like Fairy Godmother.
Yeah.
That she wears like a little cape, and I was like, and I sat there thinking, I'm like, she could be. I do wish they were more subtle about it.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
I wish it felt totally opposite problem with the music. I'm like, not that it's a problem. I just do. I guess like part of it's like, I like being like, I caught it. And in the end, it's like, well,
who wouldn't have
said,
caught it? Yeah.
Can you be our fairy godmother? Like, they did. They spelled
pretty
it out.
explicit.
And the same for the Seven Dwarfs. I was like, there's 7 dwarfs when I realized it. And I'm like, oh my God.
they're like, really?
They've been using words sleepy.
That's why I'm so grumpy. Yeah, they like literally use the words instead of just like letting it be. But it is for kids.
It is. But I don't know. They're usually really good at giving us the Easter eggs that we can find.
Yes.
And I bet there are tons.
I bet there are. Yeah, I bet you're right.
I bet there's more than.
Yes.
And so maybe in that sense, they like gave us a wide range of like some that are really obvious, some that are more subtle.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. Of course, that just like makes me be like, but you didn't have to tell us any of them.
Yeah.
But that's okay that they did.
Yeah.
This is little, but there was like a moment at which like the green smoke magic, whatever it was, like became like a claw and was like, and I was like, that's Ursula. That's Ursula stealing Ariel's voice. That's happening right there.
Yes.
And I was like, that's it. That's that moment.
Yeah.
Because I love little things like that where I'm like, that's that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's why I'm having a hard time because like there was
Just
like
little
little moments like that I was like, I think that's that.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, even if it like wasn't meant to be that, it was that.
Yeah. It was cool. I do remember that from.
I was like,
and it's like a little bit Fantasia, the what's it called?
the big guy, the big demon guy.
Yeah.
What is it
What's
called?
his name? He has a name.
He does. I don't know.
I don't remember. But yeah, that was very cool.
But I liked.
There's some very cool
those
art stuff. I mean, the art is so good.
The art is
Oh my
very
God.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite were those little moments where they like gave nods to things in like very small ways.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do favorite song.
Oh, okay. Favorite song.
Yeah.
The Stars one. That's
Why
it.
not?
Yeah, it's the one where they're like, we're all star stuff, you know.
We're made of stars. I thought that was
Which is very
so
sweet. That's actually very sweet because it's like, it's also like, you know, we are just star
we're
stuff.
Stars. We're also stars.
We're stars, yeah, and we're and then they
We
can
are
also
made of
wish
stars, but
upon
they're
ourselves, and we actually have
very
the strength.
cute.
So it's like, oh, that's actually
Nice
like
little
really
play on words, and they like made it like very poppy. Like, look, we're a star.
yeah,
Which I thought was cute.
yeah,
I thought was very cute. I think mine is that duet at the beginning. The I will protect
it's
you,
really,
or I
really-
will.
Yeah, that was actually very.
I think it was
moving and
really,
beautiful.
really beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was, I think, the closest I got to being weepy,
Yeah,
just right at the beginning there.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Anything else? I feel like there's like, there's got to be something, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's just
not.
references.
Just
Maybe
references.
I'm like, it does make me want to like spend time on the
I
references.
know.
I'm like, I want to.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a
I
follow
want
up
to
on
know,
that
and
too.
I want to do, yeah.
Yeah, we should do a
Maybe.
follow up. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Cool.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us for today's episode of Two Grooms, One Plot. I am Pavi Prochko. And remember...
Start that over again.
Yeah. Shoot. Do I have one?
Not yet, apparently.
No. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of Two Grooms, One Plot. We appreciate it. Follow us wherever you can. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and to our YouTube. Give us a like, comment on our stuff. Let us know if you hate our opinions or love them, whatever. We love it. I am Pavi Prochko. And remember, be careful when you wish upon a star. It just may cause a lot of problems.
And I'm Colin Funk. And remember, Alan Tudyk can get away with anything.
Oh my gosh.
Even being a 3-week-old goat with a old man voice, apparently.
Apparently. Jeez, that's the truth.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Grooms, One Plot, a Pavitas Productions project, hosted by Colin Funk and Pavi Prochko. This podcast was produced by Chicago Podcast Studio. Our opening cartoon was created by Gloriu, and our theme song was composed by me, Pavi Prochko. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite listening platform. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Two Grooms, One Plot, for updates on new episodes and behind-the-scenes content. If you have any feedback, comments, concerns, or kudos, you can email us at twogroomsOneplot@gmail.com. Please rate and review us wherever you can. It would help us out a bunch. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.